the interesting thing about having children is that if you pay attention and you allow them to be your teacher, which I feel they can be, our greatest teacher, is that you realize how simple children are, and how much and how they have it figured out, and that as adults we tend to become so misaligned and totally just out of alignment with our nature. And I know this, may be hard to grasp depending where you're at in your life, and no judgment, we're all on our own journey. But the thing about children is that they're so simple. I mean, I have a daughter, she's 7.5, and she's just a ball of energy. I mean, she doesn't need to have any caffeine or supplements to, get a boost. She doesn't need to, drink alcohol or take a drug in order to laugh and get crazy and act like a little sober drunk. I mean, she can just go to the playground and start playing and chatting up and making friends with whoever. And if you got kids, you know what I'm talking about. They're like a bunch of sober drunks. They're crazy animals. And it's amazing, it's like you watch them, and sometimes it's like, gosh, it's like, sometimes it can be hard to remember having so much energy at such a...
In a quarter mile, slight right to stay on North Fort Harrison Avenue.
And I have a lot of energy right now, but I can remember, because I've always kept a journal in my life, I can remember looking back on times in my life when I just felt so messed up. I just dug myself into such a dark hole.
Slight right to stay on North Fort Harrison Avenue.
I dug myself into such a dark hole and had such little energy that...
Continue for 1.5 miles.
I wondered that, if I'd ever be able to get back to that happy, childlike place. Just having natural energy, being naturally happy, excited over the little things like a child. Motivated and like a kid on Christmas morning, just so excited and bouncing out of bed, and I wondered, and it drove me crazy and mad, wondering if I could ever get back to that place, because I was smoking weed every day, all the time, drinking all the time, partying like crazy, drugs, all kinds of things, and I wondered if, and then when you try to quit, you try to get sober, it gets even worse. It gets even worse. It's like you have worse energy, you feel like total crap, you hate life, you hate everything you feel, and it can mess with you, and it can make you feel like the only way to be happy in life is through intoxication. And that's where it really gets tricky, because it's like, can I ever get free? But the amazing thing about the human mind and humans in general is that we're very resilient, and that you can do humans can take a lot of abuse, but we're very resilient creatures, and we have the ability to rebuild ourselves if we just give ourselves enough time. And I think that's the key in being patient. And I know a lot of people reach out to me or comment on the videos, and and it's maybe a couple weeks or a month or a couple months has gone by, and they still don't feel back to that childlike place yet. That gift of being a child, the simplicity of just being excited over the simple things in life. And full of energy and life and drive, and the magic coming back into you, the fire back in the belly, reignited back in the belly like a child. It's like children have this this fire in the belly. They just get so excited over the littlest things, the simplest things, and they just can't wait, they get excited. It's so beautiful and amazing. And so, but if you give it enough time, what happens over time is that your brain starts to form new neural connections in your brain, because the universe doesn't like vacuums. And so as you become sober, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But what happens over time is if you go through the process and you keep doing the right thing, taking right action, and you know what I mean by that. Healthy diet, exercise, so forth. What happens is your brain is going to figure
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Court Street.
Your brain's going to figure out how to get happy again. Because really the only purpose of humans, all down to a biology level, is to survive and replicate, and our system wants us to survive. And so over time, give it enough time, our body is going to figure out how to make us happy again. It's going to do what's required because the universe doesn't like vacuums. And so what's going to happen is your body is going to start to form new your brain's going to form new neural connections. It's going to learn how to wire and fire dopamine and serotonin and all the feel-good chemicals into the brain naturally. And it takes time, but it's going to learn because you're not numbing them all the time with substances, getting high all the time. And although you think it's just weed, you're relying on a crutch and a substance. And what's going to happen is that your brain is going to figure out how to become happy again.
Take the next right onto Court Street.
You're not numbing yourself over time. Give it enough time. After a year goes by, maybe a lot sooner, depending on how much you really take the healthy habit lifestyle seriously. What'll happen is that
continue for 2 miles.
You'll get that fire back in the belly again, and you'll get that simplicity, that love for simplicity to come back. Where because your brain so desperately wants to find ways to get happy, that you're gonna find enjoyment in the simple things. Just watching a sunset. Tonight I'm gonna go watch the sunset, and I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things. I get high just watching the sunset. Going for a walk, playing the guitar, harmonica, whatever, music. That's what I do. Harmonica. Gardening, simple things in life, where it doesn't have to be so complicated. Numbing our senses of so many different substances and things like that. But you gotta give it time. Patience is key. Patience is key. And you got to commit to the process. I coach people in business, and a lot of people just want the short version. They want, just to get the little freebies from YouTube, but they don't really want to commit to mastery. And that's one thing I try to teach people when I'm coaching them, and I say, you got to commit to mastery, to the process. If not, then you'll just be a dabbler. And so the same thing with sobriety as well. You got to commit to the process and understand that it's a journey. Commit to the journey, to the process. And if you do, then in the long run, you will get the greatest joy, and you'll go back to experiencing that magic of a child again. Mastering sobriety. Finding happiness again in just the simple things. Thank goodness humans are such resilient creatures. So I hope you all having a great day. Hope you all have a great week coming up. Make it a great month, great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.